quality to be as amazing as it possibly can. So welcome in, and please enjoy our prelude from the Lilia Ensemble. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. My name is Reverend Lissa, and I'm delighted to welcome you to Sunday service at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Long Beach. Welcome in to all who are joining us this morning. Welcome to our visitors and our guests. We're so glad to have you this morning. A special welcome to those of you joining the first time, and we're so happy that you have chosen UUCLB to spend this Sunday holiday morning. We do have, after service today, a starting point workshop for anyone who is a newcomer or who would just like to know a little bit more about the church. And that's going to happen right in the lounge after the children and youth move to the sanctuary to complete their rehearsals this morning. And also we have now a QR code on your order of service you can scan if you are a newcomer and would like to just let us know who you are, and so we can follow up with you and connect with you a little bit more. There's also a goldenrod form at the membership table. Welcome also to those joining on YouTube and Zoom. Just as a reminder, our YouTube channel is now up and running, so please do subscribe and pass it on to your friends and family. We'll have some wonderful holiday services this time of the year, and so if you'd like to share those with friends or family, if there's a message or some music that is inspiring to you, please do pass that on. Or if you can't make it a Sunday, you know that you can stop by the YouTube channel any day of the week and catch up. Now let's please take a moment once again to silence those electronic devices. So if you are, maybe unsure if you did silence it, I know I'm still trying to silence mine over here, so I'm going to give you an extra try to silence those electronic devices this morning so that we can create a beautiful stillness for our musicians. Now let's just take a moment to greet one another. So you're welcome to get up and move around if you'd like, or simply stay in your seat and offer a wave or a hello. Let's greet one another. Okay. I invite you to make your way back to your seats. I forgot where's my little bell. I had a bell. Okay, I invite everyone to make their way back to their seats. And after the service, you're welcome to join us for a coffee hour, for more conversation. And you'll see that we have a lovely fair trade fair that's going on after the service as well. So please do stop by one of those lovely vendors who we know are bringing goods from all over the world to keep going on your holiday shopping. Okay. So children and youth are beginning their pageant rehearsals today. So if you have a child or the infants and toddlers are available to go to room 2-3 if you have an infant or a toddler. And then they'll be in the lounge practicing their singing with Javon. And then after the service, the kids and youth will move into Wilder Hall to do some practicing in here. And do mark your calendars for the kids' pageant, which is going to be really lovely, coming up on December 15th. So this is a beautiful season of celebration here at UUCLB, and we invite you to enjoy all the gifts of the season here. After church today, there's going to be a card-making workshop with the Pastoral Care Committee, so you can get a jump on your holiday cards if you'd like, or create a beautiful card for someone in need in the congregation. Next Saturday, we have holiday decorating going on December 7th. That's from 9 to 12 here in Wilder Hall, and it's a potluck. It's a lot of fun, so that's for the whole family, and we look forward to making memories with you the whole season, including Christmas Eve, and there will be one service at 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve, so mark your calendars for that. And now I'd like to introduce our worship associate, Pauline McMahon, to introduce the Lilia Ensemble officially.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pauline McMahon, and I'm delighted to serve as your worship associate. We are pleased to welcome back to UUCLB the wonderful Lilia Ensemble. Lilia Ensemble was formed in 2021 out of a love of early and eclectic music and the joy that comes from blending a trio of voices. Elizabeth Lawton, Sue Bin Kwan, and Rebecca Russell balance professional singing careers with day jobs ranging from education to science to law. Blending their different areas of expertise, they delight in finding opportunities to share both familiar and lesser heard pieces in a wide variety of styles. And now we welcome them to lead us in our first carol, number 225, O come, Emmanuel. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing. The words will be in your hymnal and on the screens.
O come, Emmanuel, and with your captive children dwell. Give comfort to all exiles here, and to the aching heart bid cheer. Rejoice, rejoice.
This Sunday begins the Christian tradition of Advent, the period of waiting for the birth of Jesus and the 4-week celebration of spiritual light. Each week until Christmas, a candle is lit on the Advent wreath, a circle of evergreens along with each of the preceding candles. The flame of each new candle reminds us that something is happening now, but something more is still to come. The light of Advent grows brighter and brighter, guiding us towards collective hope, lasting peace, shared joy, and abundant love. The first candle is a symbol of hope. Episcopal presiding Bishop Catherine Jeffers Scory once said, "Advent is the season when we are called to live with more hope than the world thinks is reasonable." Kindling hope is an act of faith in the future and an act of courage in the face of despair. As civil rights activist Bryan Stevenson has said, "Hope is your superpower and the enemy of injustice." Similarly, activist Grace Paley once said, "The only recognizable feature of hope is action." With the creative power of hope, we prepare our hearts to be transformed. May we dare to illuminate the shadows of our lives and open to the healing light of community. As we light our chalice flame, symbol of the light within every person, may these words from the Reverend Wayne Arneson: "In the flame of this chalice, we find the light of faith, the glow of hope, and the warmth of love." May we ever grow in faith, hope, and love as we kindle our own lights from this spark. When so much asks for our attention, the lighting of one candle after another reminds us that this season must pass in its own time. We have the choice to be awakened and fully inhabit the present moment. May we soften our hearts and open our arms to embrace its brightness.
Good morning. We are very happy to be here today. The first piece you heard was O Eterne Deus by Hildegard von Bingen. Hildegard was a German nun and polymath from the Middle Ages, renowned for her contributions to music, theater, science, as well as her writings of her visions. She's one of the greatest composers of early Western music and an all-around fascinating historical figure. In O Eterne Deus, Hildegard portrays the Nativity as the primal dawn, a new beginning as a divine light enters the world. The highest notes that you heard were sung for words amore and filium, which means love and son in Latin, highlighting the profound love embodied in the birth of God's Son. Next, we have Alleluia, a new work by an anonymous composer. It comes from the Selden Carol Book, a collection of carols from 15th century England. Like Hildegard's piece, it celebrates the arrival of Jesus, a new life, and a new beginning. This piece is sung in Middle English, an earlier version of today's English, so you might recognize some of the words that we sang. Before we start, I'd like to share the modern English version of the second verse, which is our favorite. Alleluia, this sweet song, out of a green branch has sprung. God send us the life that lasts long. Now joy and bliss be among those who thus can sing.
at dusk and sing Alleluia. 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 Alleluia.
So I now invite you into a time of meditation and prayer. And you can just find yourself settling into your space a little bit deeper if you'd like to set aside your program or your hymnal for a moment and simply begin to focus on your body and your breath. Allowing yourself to slow down a bit. There's nowhere to go. No shopping list to check off, no cards to write, just simply being together in this space. This is for you. This is your hour to be. And I invite you to bring some awareness to your breath, this life force that we share. And if you'd like to close your eyes or to bring a hand to your heart or your belly, anything that helps you to focus and to begin to pay attention to what is happening inside. And simply allowing the rise and fall of your breath to deepen a little bit, to find a natural rhythm. And begin to notice anything that is emerging for you, any sensation in your body, any feeling passing through. And if there is anything calling for your attention, see if you can simply set it aside for the moment. It's this practice of returning to your center. And as you are noticing what is emerging for you, I invite you just to bring a gentleness to whatever it is you are experiencing. And just to remind you that you are supported and cared for in this moment by this community that is gathering, this community of shared values and practice. This Sunday, as the holidays move into full swing, each of us is bringing our own complex experience, and it's a time to remember that there is no one right way to feel or right way to celebrate. And it is okay to feel whatever you are feeling about the holidays ahead or the holidays past, all of the tables and the dynamics that we have found ourselves in. And just to allow ourselves to really embrace our own experience of the season. So if you are feeling not in the mood, that is just fine. If you are feeling some grief and sadness, that is okay too. And on this World AIDS Day, we bring to heart and mind all of the devastations of many generations lost and touched by HIV/AIDS. And we know that we have a long way to go to continue to advocate for prevention justice. So if you are feeling the weight of the world's suffering and oppression this morning, it is okay to be there too, and that is real and raw and okay. And just as we are making space for grief and complexity, we are also making room for joy and to give ourselves permission to delight in this season, to enjoy the sights and the sounds, and to enter into childlike wonder if we are being drawn in. So it's okay to don your PJs and Santa hats and jingle bells and anything silly or fun that makes you feel alive and joyful. And it's okay to feel a sense of hope bubbling up even when there is no rhyme or reason. It's okay to find joy in your traditions and rituals, whatever they may be. So let us come back to our breath and try to expand our hearts to embrace all of our own complexity and the complexity of this season, to find a place to drop down into a deeper meaning for ourselves, and to set aside some of the trappings, the consumerism, to let go and to find the true meaning. Let us enter into a time of silence now to find our own center and to anchor down. And let us enjoy the ease of being in stillness together for just a few more breaths. As we bring our awareness back into the room. The poet William Blake once wrote, "Joy and woe are woven fine, a clothing for the soul divine. Under every grief and pine runs a joy with silken twine." And so now is our time to share this morning. And in this congregation, we have a tradition of sharing our joys and sorrows. And today, our Advent theme is hope. And you are invited especially to come and share something that you are feeling hopeful about, to inspire and uplift one another. And you are also invited to light a candle of hope to add to this season of light. And I was just reflecting on my frustration with the chalice not lighting, and I think that's actually perfect for today. Because today is all about what to do when the things that we rely upon to bring hope are no longer serving, and how we kindle hope in unexpected places. So while I continue to perseverate on the wax on the chalice and how I can remove it, we will be lighting candles to add to the season of light beyond the chalice and to supplement that beauty. So I'm going to invite you, as you feel moved, to come to the chancel. And as always, because we do want to hear a fullness of the room, just to keep our sharing as brief as possible so that we can hear as many voices. And you can form a line here if you'd like. Yes, of course.
Hi, I'm Roxanne, and my son is in kidney failure right now, is on dialysis. So my hope is that he receives a kidney next year.
This is going to be very difficult. On October 28th, I moved out of my house, and as a result, my life got very complicated. And I have a joy. How many people rallied to me? I particularly want to thank people in the congregation who have expressed not interest, but empathy and help. But my overwhelming joy is that 3 people whose house I've been living on, who are in their 20s, who I know from doing RW canvassing and Measure A. I've been sleeping on their couch, which is no way for a man of 78 to sleep. But they are there every day for me. And we often say we reap what we sow. Sometimes we reap so much more than we deserve.
Hi, my name is Marty Harris, and my father, who I take care of, was recently diagnosed with moderate Alzheimer's, and so that has been difficult. But the hope is that we're moving forward, and we are going to be buying a house so I can take care of him, and so the hope is we find a good living situation, and that I'm able to actually cohabitate with my father without us killing each other. So.
Hi, I'm Joan Marshall, and I'm just here because I love you all. And thank you so much for the warm wishes, well wishes, and the cards that you sent me. I fell and hurt my back, for you that don't know. And I'm better, and I worked out at the table this morning.
Good morning, I'm Peben Nee. 2 joys. One is my sister and I were estranged for many years, and last Christmas I invited her for Christmas dinner. And then so this whole year it's been okay, and we had a nice Thanksgiving family dinner without drama. And then second is my mom, we got a wheelchair van for my mom, so she's much happier.
Hi, my name is Gail Byrne, and I'm relatively new to this community. I don't know, something compelled me to come up. In 2008, November 2008, I was working on the first Obama campaign, and I went with my friend. She was doing legal counsel in Clark County, Nevada. And I wasn't doing legal counsel, I just went with her, and I made coffee and did those kinds of things. And then on the night of the election, we went to one of the early celebrations when it was announced that he had won. And they handed out necklaces to all of the people, and keychains. Men got keychains, so it's kind of a gender thing. And they gave us necklaces. Now, I wasn't really legal counsel, but I got one anyway. And it says hope on it. And in 2016, I put it on again, or for the first time. And I haven't taken it off since. And I was going to take it off last week, and I couldn't. I couldn't take it off. I mean, I did take it off, but then I put it back on. And I don't know what compelled me to do that, but I want to believe that it has something to do with the fact that there is such a thing as hope. And in Ted Lasso, they said that hope is what kills you. I don't want to believe that, but I also think it is the thing that keeps drawing me back to this place. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Frederick Rose, and my joy, which is quite simple and straightforward, is that not 10 days ago, I reached 9 months of sobriety. Oh, and my hope is to obviously continue with that.
Hi, I'm Valerie Lindberg, and my joy and my hope is my daughter Kayleen. And she's been in this church since she was about 6 weeks old. Some of you know her and also know she was the nursery care person for the last couple of years. But she was, also it's important that you know she had many learning disabilities growing up, dyslexia and also some selective mutism. And she was accepted, or she was accepted to more than one place, but she accepted at Cal State Channel Islands. And we are moving her up in just a few weeks to do her junior and senior year in studio arts with a graphic design focus. So we're excited for her. And she wants to be with her peers and socialize, so there you go.
Hey, I'm Michael Kimmett. I have two hopes. One's for me, but the one I would like to share is that my roommate Shanta Kaneshiro needs knee surgery to repair ligament in her knee, and I am sincerely hoping that it goes as routinely as it is supposed to, and that recovery is as non-grueling as possible. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Gina Stevens, and I came up today because of hope. I've been caught in the middle of some tension between two of my cousins, two of my dear cousins that I grew up with, and I want to let go of the sad heart that I have over it and try to restore it. I've been kind of caught in the middle of it, so I want to let go of that and try to restore a relationship with my oldest cousin. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sequoia. I've been here maybe 9 times, but I struggle with moral OCD a lot, and my therapist actually kind of suggested I keep coming to help me deal with that, and I noticed that I wasn't afraid or anxious at all until I got here this morning, which is a lot of progress. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Ellen Rumenchik, Unitarian for 65 years, mostly in Texas, was on the board at the Tyler Church, and I'm just here for 4 months as an itinerant physician working at St. John's, and my husband refuses to come to California, so I hope to occasionally meet with some of you on the weekends when I'm free, not working my 60-hour work week, to socialize. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Coombs. My joy is that I'll be 81 tomorrow. It's taken me a long time to get over a lot of depression and a lot of pain. And I still have pain in sciatica. But I have hope, that things are going to turn out both for me and for this world. we have so much sorrow going on all over the world. And I'm hoping that somewhere, somehow, some of that can be eased.
So I'm going to close the speaking part of our joys and sorrows and candles of hope and turn it over to Pauline. But as she is reading this closing candlelight blessing, if anybody would like to silently light a candle, you are invited to come and join us.
Thank you all for what you have shared so generously with our congregation, and for all that continues to mingle silently in your hearts. Let us close the time of sharing with these words from the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. I will light candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite all sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of grace to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all our living, candles that will burn all the year long. We celebrate these joys with you and hold you tenderly in your sorrow. May this beloved community we share continue to bring strength and comfort. With these spoken words and silent meditations of our hearts, we say Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
And I'd like to invite the Lilia Ensemble to come forward, and we're going to move into our offertory. And we just thank you for all the contributions that you make to this congregation, all that you offer with your presence and your gifts. Our offering will now be gratefully received.
Our next tune is called Traveler's Prayer. It's not traditional or old. It was written by John Renbourn, who was a British folk guitarist in the 70s, unless you consider the 70s old, which I don't. The words are inspired, so it goes, by an ancient Gaelic prayer, the New Moon, which was said on the fall of each new moon on the Isle of Barra and the Outer Hebrides in Scotland. In it, the words call out in praise to the moon, the bright queen of the skies, to God, to Jesus and Mary, and connects pre-Christian and Christian imagery. It was transcribed by Kate Howard. This music came to us in the way of all great folk music, through many hands, friends, and fellow musicians. And it feels particularly appropriate as we think about the coming solstice, the darkness, and the rebirth of the light.
Praise to the moon, bright queen of the skies, jewel of the black night, the light of our eyes. Brighter than starlight, whiter than snow, look down on us in the darkness below. If well you should find us, then well let us stay. Be it 7 times better when you make your way. Be it 7 times better when we greet the dawn. So light up our way and keep us from all harm. Give strength to the weary, give alms to the poor, to the tainted and needy, 5 senses restore. Give song to our voices, give sight to our eyes, to see the sun bow as the new moon shall rise. Cast your eyes downward to our dwelling place, 3 times for favor and 3 times for grace.
I have a confession to make, and I wonder if anyone shares this confession. I had a legitimate childhood fear of the dark. Was anyone else like truly afraid of the dark as a kid? The dark under the bed. Oh, I see some hands. So I legitimately had a fear of the dark, and as a child, I would lie in bed with a sense of dread about what was under the bed, and I feel somehow that my own safety or my family's safety was at risk. And even though I had already checked under the bed and the light was on, and there was really very little to be afraid of in a suburban Massachusetts neighborhood. Very little reason why I should actually have been afraid. And I was very aware that my neighborhood actually had more trees than people. But somehow that made it also scary. The woods and the dark of the woods. And I've had this fear that somehow I would be like enveloped by the woods and the dark. And so I was a sensitive kid, and maybe you were too. Sensitive about what was happening in the world. I remember very clearly remembering the Iraq War happening when I was a kid. You were not, maybe. Some of us were kids. But I remember just feeling very threatened and sad about people who were living in a state of war as a kid. And so I would just lie awake at night and think about the world and feel kind of attuned to suffering my own and the world. And going outside, I was also scared, like taking out the trash. I was like dashing out to take the trash at night, dashing back in. And it wasn't until I moved to New York City in the early 2000s, in my early 20s, that fear of the dark really disappeared. And I was back in New York for just 48 hours, and I was reminded of like how great it is to walk at night in New York. The lights are on in the city. It never really gets dark at all. It's like this orange-purple kind of hum and buzz all of the time. And I loved being surrounded by people and just the sense of like the neighborhood kind of looking out for each other. So I was no longer really afraid of the dark and kind of prided myself of being able to go out at all hours of the night. But then I started to get nightmares, which kind of felt like similar to that fear of the dark. Anyone else struggle with nightmares? Not just kids, And the nightmare that I would have, and I still have it, so I'm kind of confessing the deep secrets, is that I was helping to save the world. I had saved the world, and there was like a sense of peace and calm that I had achieved some great accomplishment, and peace and good had triumphed in the world. And then all of a sudden, like a video game, it was game over. Game over. And it was just the end. And I would wake up very scared. And so it was like the world, it was kind of like this swing of the world from feeling, and I just saw Wicked, so it was very, it's kind of like that of like, disillusionment of like the world that you thought was good is over. And I have felt like when stress comes up and when the world is shifting, that nightmare returns. Since the election, it's come back a few times. Has anyone else had kind of fears or disturbances kind of coming up? I've heard quite a few people, having just, it's hard to sleep at night, it's hard to rest, it's hard to have that sense of peace and all is well in the world, and some of our anxiety may come up and make it hard simply to sleep and to have that like deep peace and rest. And a lot of that, I think, is we may feel kind of powerless these days. It's very dark, first of all. 4:43, I checked. 4:43, and it's going to get even earlier. The days are very short. And I don't know about you, but I find it's very hard to kind of fit everything in before it gets dark, even the regular things like walking the dog or just being out. And then once that darkness falls at night, it's like, I'm in. It's hard to go out at night. It's kind of hard. Does anyone else kind of feel like you're ready for bed earlier and earlier? So we are these like kind of creatures of the seasons. And as much as we think we're such kind of evolved beings, we are still very influenced by not only the seasons, but everything going on in the world has an impact on these bodies of ours. And I've been thinking about what it means to sort of sit with the darkness these days, to sit with the darkness. Miriam Greenspan is a Buddhist psychotherapist who's dedicated her career to what she calls the dark emotions, grief, fear, and despair. And she has a powerful book called Healing Through the Dark Emotions. And she said, these are our worst and hardest feelings. And they are a part of every person's life. And perhaps, like many people today, you are deeply aware of living in a world that is both dangerous and endangered. An environment that triggers our difficult emotions on a daily basis. And perhaps for you, it's not personal adversity, but awareness of the enormity of pain in the world and of the danger to our planet itself. Or perhaps you feel these emotions and don't know how to connect with them or how to cope. And she says, when I call them dark, I mean that as a culture, we have kept these emotions in the dark, under the bed. Shameful, secret, and unseen. And so we tend to personally shun them. But the emotions that we reject and suppress can become dark in an entirely different sense. And she offers a sense of hopeful fodder with these dark and difficult feelings and emotions, like fertile soil from which unexpected flowers can bloom. I've been thinking a lot about that theme of hope in the dark, and many of us have found inspiration from Rebecca Solnit in these times, and she has this powerful book called Hope in the Dark, and that may be a good Advent read for anybody who's sort of looking for a book that can help both connect to the political moment, but also sort of the spiritual and intellectual understanding. And she starts off her book with a quote from Virginia Woolf, from her journal on the cusp of World War I. It was a very fearful time in the world. And Virginia Woolf wrote, "The future is dark, which I think is the best thing the future can be." That's really a reframing of how we think about the future. And Rebecca Solnit writes, most people are afraid of the dark. Literally, when it comes to children, and while many adults fear above all, the darkness that is the unknown, the unforeseen, the unseeable, the obscure. And yet the night in which distinctions and definitions cannot be readily made is the same night in which love is made, in which things merge, change, become enchanted, aroused, possessed, released, and renewed. So today we begin that season of Advent, and if you have children, you may be pulling out your Advent calendar and talking a lot about waiting. Is it Christmas yet? How about now? And it is, even for us as adults, if we may not be counting down literally the day where Santa comes, we are counting down in a way, and we are waiting for something new to emerge from this time that is so unknown, that is so ominous, and yet there is embedded a hopefulness which is there to be discovered, a possibility there to be discovered, even if we can't put a finger on it yet. We can't point to it and say, this is how it's going to be. This is what it is. These are our challenges. But we can sit in this moment and not miss the opportunity to wait with this openness, this curiosity, and to grapple with our own very difficult feelings and emotions and to share those with one another. I just confessed to a room full of people about my fear of the dark and my nightmares. And I wonder if we turn to each other to share some of what is really deeply worrying us, what we are afraid of. What is the worst that could happen? And to confess that to each other and to allow that to actually connect us deeper to each other. Because one thing we do know is that we are all looking for something to do, and that our relationships with each other, the trust that we have and we are building, that is actually an important and hopeful action we can take, is to turn to each other. And if we allow each other to hear openly and authentically the fears that we are carrying, we can form some ideas and possibilities about how we can hold and protect and care for one another through whatever challenges we face. And so I'm going to invite you after the service too, if you feel like you want to light a candle or to come and be with the candles again. I think the more light that we can continue to bring into our lives, and maybe you want to start that singular practice of lighting a candle at night, just at your dinner table, or if you're sitting by yourself or with your family, to just practice that hopeful act. That is one thing you can do, and see how that changes your view, changes your internal feelings of hopefulness. Well, the dance party's calling us. It's like right at 11 too. It's like, the end. Sounds pretty hopeful to me, actually. It's like a persistent dance party, too. So I'm going to close with an excerpt from the poet T.S. Eliot, who was a Unitarian, and he has a beautiful set of poems called the Four Quartets. I said to my soul, be still and wait without hope. For hope would be hope for the wrong thing. Wait without love, for love would be love of the wrong thing. Yet there is faith, but the faith and the love are all in the waiting. Wait without thought, for you are not ready for thought. So the darkness shall be the light, and the stillness the dancing. Amen, and blessed be. And I'm going to now invite the Lilia Ensemble to share a final carol with us, and they will be offering the postlude as well. So if you want to remain seated for the postlude so that we can conclude our beautiful program with them. Please rise in body or spirit for the last carol of the evening, the morning. People look east.
People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able. Trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today. Love, the guest is on the way. Furrows be glad, though earth is bare. One more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today. Love, the rose is on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim. One more night the bowl shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love, the star is on the way.
Our Sunday services are created through the collaboration and teamwork of our staff and volunteers, and through the presence and participation of our members and friends. Thank you to our wonderful musical guests, the Lilia Ensemble, Danilo, Dawn, and Paul for making today's service so meaningful. We hope you will stay and enjoy coffee and refreshments with us. Join us for discussion, and that we hope to see you again next week and throughout the holiday season. And of course, you are welcome to come to the altar to view the candles or to light your own as a symbol of hope in the darkness. After all, if there were no Advent, writes author John Taylor, we would need to invent it. We human creatures, in spite of all that has happened to us and been done by us, are still hopeful. Something new, something vital, something promising is always coming. Thus, in Advent, candles are lighted to mark the time of preparation, and with each new light, our anticipation grows, as it should. We are, after all, a hopeful people. So we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Amen.
Our final piece today is the Christmas carol Quem Pastores Lauda Verde. We will be performing for you an arrangement of a setting by the Renaissance composer Michael Praetorius. This piece is in Latin, and so I'll tell you a little bit about the text. It begins by describing the shepherds, pastores, watching their flocks as the angels are singing. It also tells of the three kings who bring gifts of aurum, gold, tus, frankincense, and myrrh, myrrh, to the baby Jesus. The piece concludes by exhorting us all to sing with praises of the joy of Christ's coming. And just on behalf of myself and on behalf of the ensemble, we wanted to thank you so much for having us today. This is such a joy for us. We're so happy to be able to share this music with you. And we wish you and your loved ones a hopeful and a joyous holiday season.
Quem pastores lauda verde, quibus angeli dixere, obsit